All right, good morning, traders. Today is, what is today? Today is June 12th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at BYOB Trading. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody in digital land, podcast land, cyber land. Thank you so much for finding the value in my content. Thank you for subscribing, following, and leaving all those kind comments. Special thanks. I want to shout out to Bob Jordan. Thank you so much, Bob. Really appreciate that. It's been with me for a long time, leaving nice, kind comments. I want you to know, Bob, that doesn't go unseen. Thank you so much. I don't get to respond to all of them, but I appreciate your patronage to my content. Appreciate that. I like that a lot. Thank you so much, Bob. All right, so, and everybody else is included in that. All right, so let's go ahead and drill down. Let's get started here. Start the monologue. All right, today's June 12th, 2025. Good morning. Thanks for being here. My SPY pivot this morning, 602.05. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab Five, you bet. Still in daily uptrends. Love it. SPY, QQQ, FNGB, and Diamond Dow all made higher lows and higher highs, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. IWM made an outside day. It's a higher high and a lower low. Closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute downtrend. Gold and silver both in daily uptrends. Silver made a lower low and a lower high, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. Gold made an outside day, and that closed over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Got an extra side in there. That kind of confused me. Got it, finally. USO in a daily uptrend made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. UNG made an outside day, closing under a bearish trap and under the flat 17 EMA. I'm just going to say USO really ramping up here. It's looking good. I hope yesterday's candle was not an exhaustion candle, but I did like the price action going on. It's starting to liven up a little bit. UNG is still just a dog, all right? It's just, and it looks lower. I got to say, UNG looks actually down to do a double bottom for the year. So we'll see what happens with UNG. Again, UNG was an outside day, closing under a bearish trap under the flat 17. U.S. dollar index still in a downtrend and on a move right now, well, moving down. All right, still in a downtrend, closed near the 98.47 area, and last time I looked, it was heading even further south, maybe down to even 97 by now. Not sure. SPY Max Pain is 600, kind of the same place it was yesterday, with a put to call ratio of about 1.1 put to each call that expires today at 4:15. Just want to make a mention, teed up, still starred, I still starred, and SMR still starred. I think SMR made a nice breakout, probably going to have an inside day today. I was on the move. Teed up is still looking good for a breakout, all right? So there's those three right there. I didn't see anything else. Of course, Oklo had a huge move yesterday. Nice one on Oklo. That's been on the list for a while. It got off at one point, and then it came right back on. So Oklo, nice move yesterday. Wow, that was nice. Okay, so let's take a look at some charts. Let's start off with SPY, all right? On the daily chart, you can see got a little higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Okay, so I'm looking for price to really consolidate over prior consolidation. So around this area up here, okay, looking for 604 to be kind of the ceiling of the new consolidation channel. And I think right around 593, 594 will be the bottom of the next consolidation channel. And I'm looking for price to kind of consolidate on top of prior consolidation. So looking for price to come down to this area. You can see we're well on our way. We're already down to 598 and below. All right, so there's SPY on the daily chart. So I'm looking for, like I said, consolidation to occur on top of prior consolidation. I think that would be normal. Okay, we're getting some trade deals done. I like it. I don't feel like we've got them all done. I still feel like we've yet to meet with, he's yet to meet with Mexico and Canada to finalize what's going to go, what may or may not happen there. So supposedly China's good. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, so again, after everybody signs everything, that's when things come together. So there's SPY on the daily chart, still in a daily uptrend. If we look at it with the lines on here, you can see we're up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, we're up over the bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, also bullish. Okay, up in quadrant 4, bullish. Moving up, holding the higher ground. That's bullish, and now a breakout. Nice move. So there's SPY on the daily chart up there. That's bullish if you didn't know it. Take a look at it on the 10-minute chart, and we'll see what we got here. 10-minute chart had a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close, and on the 2-hour chart we had still got a 2-hour uptrend even with this pullback. All right, so we gapped up and dropped down. So here's price action. Still got a 2-hour uptrend. Now this is what I like. I like 10-minute uptrends inside of 2-hour uptrends. We got a 2-hour uptrend now. Inside of daily uptrends, we got a daily uptrend now. Inside of weekly uptrends, we don't have a weekly uptrend, but let me just say we got weekly candles that are moving up. Okay, nice green ones that are moving up and making higher highs and higher lows as in reference to the prior week. Okay, so they're doing good. Okay, so we got weekly candles moving up, but not in an uptrend. And we got a monthly uptrend. So we got all of that. And then we've got all of that stack of uptrend inside of uptrend inside of uptrend. All of that is over the all-time high anchored VWAP, okay? So for me, that's a powerful setup right there. So I'm looking for those 10-minute uptrends to go further and last longer and have more success and a really good win rate, as opposed to counter trend would be downtrends, okay, as opposed to 10-minute downtrends. All right, so I like those 10-minute uptrends stacked inside of, like I said, that 2-hour uptrend. All right, inside of the daily uptrend, inside the weekly candles moving up, inside of monthly uptrend right there. Okay, so I like that. I think that's a wonderful setup. I think I like to trade all of those 10-minute uptrends inside of that. Okay, we have been bullish, really bullish, more bullish than I expected. All right, and things are looking good. All right, so I that's what I like. You can see we're up over all of that over this all-time high anchored VWAP is. I think that's a really powerful setup there. Okay, so there's SPY on the 2-hour. Let's go take a look at QQQ. Actually, let's just review the game plan one time here before we take off into QQQ. All right, so game plan, again, my pivot is, let me slide this over. My pivot is 602.05, pretty sure, yeah. 602.05, okay, price action underneath 599.85, which clearly we are, is a red erases green, which is happening in the pre-market. You can see price down here at 598. Okay, we have a green erases red. I don't expect to see that today. It may happen. I don't expect it to get anywhere near it today. Green erases red over 604.30. Now, I like trading 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. So if there's a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that occurs down here, all right, I'm not going to wait and not trade it just because it didn't do the green erases red entry. Okay, the green erases red entry is another one. All right, so if I get a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, I will likely trade it. Same as the 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. I will likely trade those, even if they're up here, okay, and they're moving down through, okay. So I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. All right, I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. I especially like it when the price action candles are breaking away from VWAP, either to the upside or to the downside. Okay, I like one day till expiration Friday options. All right, I like them on the multiples of 5. All right, so like 600, 605, 595. You get the deal. All right, I like 10-minute downtrend. I like 8 days till expiration Friday options. All right, I like those on the multiple of 5. Okay, like 595, 590, 585. I like them $5 to $15 out of the money. They're a little bit cheaper that way, okay, as opposed to being in the money. I do give up some performance, but I'm willing to give up some performance to take on a little bit less risk. All right, so I like them $5 to $15 out of the money, okay? The same thing goes for QQQ. Same thing. I like them $5 to $15 out of the money. Right now, if you want the very best performing options, it's always going to be, or pretty much most of the time, it's always going to be. It's going to be that 0 DTE in the money option. That will pretty much give you almost a penny for penny performance when the dollar moves. Okay, it's going to cost you a little bit more up front. All right, but it will give you the best performance. All right. Point is, it doesn't give you that much. There's not a lot of safety in it. All right. If you've got 10 contracts and it moves $10, it moves $1 against you, then your whole account is going to, the value of it is going to go down by, well, almost $1,000. Okay, because that's 10 contracts. Each contract has 100 shares. They all move down $1. That's going to be 1,000 shares moving $1 south, and that could kind of wreck your account. So just be careful with that. Okay, so there's SPY. That's if you got in the money options, all right, that are 0 DTE. Okay, so there's our 10-minute game plans. Take a look at QQQ. QQQ's got a game plan as well. Again, QQQ pivot 533.05. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green underneath 530.90. That's a red erases green entry. I got a green erases red entry over 535.55. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. I like to trade those. Okay, doesn't have to be a red erases green entry. All right, I just like to see a 10-minute downtrend that's under VWAP. Things aren't moving today, kind of getting sticky. All right, okay, so I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Same thing, I like 1 DTE and 8 DTE Friday options that are on the multiple of 5, so 535, 525, 515, 520. Okay, you get the deal. All right, and I also like them $5 to $15 out of the money. All right, because again, they're going to be a lot cheaper. I'm not going to get the performance, but I'm willing to give up the performance for a little bit less risk. All right, because if that moves against me by 2 or 3 points, I'd rather have it go down just a little bit than have it go wildly down a lot. Okay, so that's QQQ game plan. All right, let's take a look at this on the daily chart. And we'll pull it up here on the scratch. All right, and we're going to slide it over. Okay, yesterday's candle, much like SPY. Okay, I think they almost all got the same candle. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17, over the uptrend line. Okay, over up in quadrant 4, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, that's all. All of that is bullish. Each one of those characteristics that I just described, okay, is bullish. Over the trap, that's bullish. Staying over the rising 17, bullish. Over the uptrend line, obviously, still in that bullish uptrend. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, also bullish. Okay, got price, same. SPY and QQQ making higher lows, higher highs, that's an uptrend. Higher low, higher high, that's an uptrend. Everything bullish, QQQ, SPY, okay? Might be getting a little bit of a pullback today. We'll see what happens, or tomorrow, all right? So I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking for price to consolidate over prior consolidation, all right? So that's what I'm kind of looking for. We'll see what happens, all right? QQQ, still bullish. SPY, still bullish. We may lose that 2-hour uptrend for a couple days. We'll see what happens in SPY. We'll see what happens, being since we're moving further south today. All right, so there's QQQ on the daily chart. That's bullish. All right, uptrend. That's bullish. Okay, let's take a look at, what do we want to look at? FNGB. Then we'll look at Diamond Dow. Higher low, higher high. Closing over a trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, bullish. Over the uptrend line. Up in quadrant 4. It's making higher lows. It's making higher highs. It's an uptrend, bullish up there in quadrant 4. Holding that higher ground. That is bullish up there. So there's FNGB on the daily chart. Diamond Dow. Okay, price. Higher low, higher high. Same thing. Okay, over the trap. Over the 17. Over the uptrend line. Over the downtrend line. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP in the upper third. Okay, all of that is bullish. Making higher lows and higher highs, higher low, higher high, see it? Holding the higher ground, now breaking out up into quadrant 4. So Diamond Dow is in an uptrend and bullish up there, okay? So IWM not a bad candle, but it just had an outside day. It's a higher high and a lower low, still closed over the bullish trap, that's bullish. Over the rising 17, bullish. Over the uptrend line, bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP. All of that is bullish. And you can see putting in like an inverse head and shoulders right here. And you got a higher low, little consolidation, move up, hold the higher ground, and you're getting a breakout right here. So if we got into the upper third, that would be bullish. Right now it's just in a neutral state right through here, but very much acting bullish. Okay, moving up, making higher lows and higher highs. So in the midst of a rally. So there's IWM. Take a look at our technicals, T2122. Yesterday is the 11th. You can see right here we got into the overbought zone, had some breakfast, and the bears threw us out. We had some lunch, all right, and wandered back into the overbought zone, and the bears threw us out. Okay, so spent the rest of the day in the buy zone and in the buyer's chop zone. Okay, I'm expecting a little bit further south today on this one, and then probably a bounce back up to this buy zone and overbought zone. T2123, 15-minute chart. Let's look at this. This is really cool. Bullish gap up. Not filled by the bears. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Another bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. And another bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Okay, all of that's bullish. That's weakness on the bears' part. They can't fill it. Okay, look at the rally high. Okay, here's yesterday was the 11th. Okay, new high made on for the rally. Okay, new high made yesterday. Day before, new high. Day before that, look at that, new high. Day before that, new high. Day before that, new high. Look at this. Day before that, new high. Day before that, new high. I mean, can you guys see the pattern? As the days progress, it keeps making higher highs. Price action is up over the rising 200 now. Okay, that's bullish. Price action over a prior all-time high. That's bullish. Price action, again, gapping up, holding that higher ground, bullish. Does it here? Does it here? Does it here? And it does it here again yesterday. So T2123 bullish up over this 200 SMA. Yeah, 200 SMA right there. Let me take those lines off and let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, see if I can remember to turn that off. Let's back out. You can see price actions kind of moving up there. Get the lines again. Okay, you can see price action moves up. All right, and then holds that higher ground that's bullish, and you're getting a reward for a breakout right here. So T2123, making higher lows and higher highs. Everything bullish there on T2123. 15-minute chart. Okay, looking great. 3-bar chart. 3 more green candle bars. That's bullish. Up over the 200 SMA, also bullish. Moving up and consolidating over prior consolidation. That's bullish, making higher lows, okay, and higher highs. Here's the high. We made a higher high. All right, so this is in an uptrend and it's bullish. Okay, moving up, holding that higher ground, expecting this to come all the way up. We'll see. That's in an uptrend. T2123 looking fantastic. Okay, FNGB. Again, we've got consolidation over prior consolidation. That's a bullish environment. Okay, it's going to be bullish until it's not. Am I expecting a pullback today and tomorrow? Yeah, I am. I am expecting it to pull back to like 595, maybe 593. But then I'm expecting it also to bounce off of that area and go back up and test the highs again. All right, so again, we've got consolidation, okay, on top of consolidation, that's bullish, on top of consolidation, that's bullish, on top of consolidation, that's bullish as well. So you can see price moves up, holds the higher ground, moves up, holds the higher ground, all up over this daily uptrend line, all up over this all-time high anchored VWAP. So you can see price action is doing well here. Okay, see the consolidation up there, consolidation here. All right, and consolidation through here. Okay, all of that, that's all bullish. Okay, consolidating over prior consolidation. That's bullish. Not to mention, look at these bullish gap ups that we see. Okay, let's take a look at this. That aren't getting filled by the bears. All right, so we'll zoom in here. Okay, look at that. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Another bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Okay, all of that. That's a bullish environment as well. Okay, it's going to be bullish till it's not. I am expecting the pullback. We'll see what happens. They may recover from this today. All right. I am expecting consolidation to form over consolidation. All right, well, they get juiced up on spinach and mustard so they can run off and make higher highs. Okay, so there's FNGB. I kind of like that. Moving up, holding the higher ground is always bullish. All right, you ever see price action? All right, when price action moves in this nature, all right, it moves up. Moves up, okay, and then holds the higher ground like that. That's bullish. When we move up and we give it up, that's just neutral. All right, same thing as if we move down. If we move down and we give it up, that's neutral. All right, it's when we move up and hold the higher ground that's bullish. All right, or when we move down and hold the lower ground, that's bearish. All right, so price action is definitely acting bullish. Keeps moving up and holding that higher ground. So it's looking good. All right, let's go take a look at some sectors. We'll start off with XLE. XLE starting to liven up. It's been in an uptrend. It hasn't moved up in a while now. These last 4 days, it's starting to pipe up and starting to get some mojo going. Still not quite it's still in an uptrend. All right. But it hasn't made a higher high here yet. But it is very close to making that higher high. We did not make a higher high here from here yet. We'll see what happens. Again, you can see price over the trap, bullish over the 17, bullish. No longer in the lower third. That's neutral through there. Underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. Yeah. Okay, just neutral. Over downtrend line 1, that's bullish. Under downtrend line 2, that's neutral. So just kind of neutral and acting bullish right now. Making higher lows and higher highs. Here's the higher low. There's the higher high. All right, so that's bullish. Made another higher low. The bulls should be inspired to make a higher high. They couldn't get it done yesterday. Maybe with some rest over the next 2 days, they could get it done in the near future here. Okay, so you can still see underneath that all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, not in the lower third. Notice that, not anymore. All right, so which was once bearish is now neutral. Okay, definitely not in the upper third yet. Okay, that's XLE. Let's take a look at USO. Nice candle there on USO. I'm sure that helped out the XLE. Over the trap, it's bullish. Over the rising 17, bullish. Breaking the downtrend line, that's bullish. Over the all-time high, well, actually the 3-year high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. Just neutral for right now, right here in at the midpoint. Okay, it's not in the upper third. It's not in the lower third. It's bullish, but they are headed up towards the upper third. See how much closer they got than from where they were like 8 days ago. You can see we're now approaching the upper third. 8 days ago or 7 days ago, we were down here in quadrant 1. All right. Now we're almost getting up here into the upper third. That would be bullish. So nice work on USO, getting it done. UNG. Then we'll do precious metals. UNG showing a head and shoulders pattern. This would be the head. This would be the right shoulder. This would be the left shoulder. All right, still up over this uptrend line right there. It's kind of neutral. You can see we're down here in the lower third. That's bearish. Caught underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bearish, closing under the trap, bearish, closing under the 17, bearish, and closing under the downtrend line, also bearish in the lower third, bearish, making lower highs and lower lows, has not made a higher high in a long time. All right, so it's still bearish. Now they have to take out this high right here. Before this pullback here, they had to take out this high. All right, they couldn't get it done. All right, so coming back, probably going to come down here and test the lows of 2024 one more time before taking off. All right, so there's UNG on the daily chart, downtrend, bearish, right there for UNG. GLD and SLV both bullish. You can see price moves up, holds the higher ground. We're up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Price action, you can see 311 today. Up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. Closing over a trap, bullish. Closing over the 17, bullish. Moving up, holding the higher ground is bullish. And of course, a breakout to the upside is bullish. Over the uptrend line, that's bullish. Gold looking great. Silver, same deal. Silver, 2 or 3 days ago, made a new 12-year high. Okay, so there's a 12-year high made a few days ago. Lower high, lower low, closing inside a bullish trap. That's bullish. Up in quadrant 4, bullish. Up over the rising 17, definitely bullish. And up over this 12-year high anchored VWAP, new 12-year high right there. That's bullish. Let's take a look at a few sectors. SMH. Okay, up here in quadrant 4. It took that a long time to get up to quadrant 4. That's bullish. Uptrend, making higher lows, higher highs. That's bullish. Quadrant 4 over the trap, over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Let's take a look at XLK. XLK dangerously close to making brand new all-time highs. All right, XLK is bullish up in quadrant 4. You can see up over the trap. See up over the trap, over the 17, over the uptrend line, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Making higher lows and higher highs. That's bullish. XLF doing the same thing. Okay, not quite as strong as XLK. Higher lows, higher highs. That's bullish. And in an uptrend, quadrant 4 is bullish up there. Up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. All right, making higher lows and higher highs, also bullish. Everything looking good there on XLF. IYT. All right, IYT, not the prettiest candle yesterday. Outside day, higher high, lower low, closing in a bullish trap. That's still bullish. Over the 17, bullish. Over the uptrend, bullish. Under the all-time high anchored VWAP, but knocking on the door. That's just neutral. Okay, so IYT not in the lower third, not in the upper third. Definitely attacking the upper third. So that's just neutral through there. All right, just that right here at the midpoint. Okay, so there's IYT. Let's take a look at the economic package, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, let's start off with some max pain is $600. Okay, put to call ratio. I don't think we're going to come back to 6. We'll see. Put to call ratio 1.1 put for each call. That expires today. Earnings reports. Adobe reports tonight. Oracle reported last night. Adobe is $177 billion. Really not capable of moving the markets, but definitely affecting the sector. All right, so they come out tonight. Tomorrow we got a lot of undecideds. All right, they're still working on the P&Ls or finding the P&Ls or not sure what they're headed for, but they're supposed to report or they've already reported. Okay, so you can see earnings season is about wrapped up here. On the dollar, here's the dollar. Nice move down. We closed near the 98.47 area. Okay, you can see we broke major support right here. That was major support. Major support now acts as minor resistance. You can see as price moves up over it, it gets squashed back down. You can see price making lower highs and lower lows and lower highs and lower lows. This is bearish. It's in a downtrend. We like that. Weak dollar helps us with our GDP. Helps us sell goods and services overseas to foreign countries, which makes our companies global. All right, that brings in more revenue. Okay, whenever you can expand your consumer base, all right, for your product, all right, that's awesome. All right, so whenever you can sell bicycles to China or bicycles to Japan or bicycles to India, all right, you've got you're expanding your demand coverage right there. Hopefully they do demand it. All right, so we'll see what happens. Everything's looking good. Nice downtrend makes our goods and services more competitive globally. All right, because we're competing against other companies that are doing the same thing that are also doing it globally. All right, let's take a look at the economic calendar. Yesterday we had CPI. Let me just say, CPI looks fantastic. All right, everything was in line. If there was going to be a rate cut, I would think it would be coming next week. All we need is some certainty out of the administration, and he could probably give us a rate cut. All right, jobless claims come out at 8:30 today. Thank you, Alan, for posting CPI yesterday. I'm sure, yes, he already got to it. Yeah, he already posted PPI today. Thank you so much, Alan. All right, and then we've got gas quarterly services survey at 10, natural gas report at 10:30. That's normal. Every Thursday at 10:30, almost, unless there's a holiday. By the way, there is a holiday coming up next week. It's Juneteenth, all right? I think it's June 19th. The markets will be closed, all right? Just letting you know ahead of time. So natural gas report 10:30, and of course you'll usually get a petroleum status report at 10:30 on Wednesday, most of the time, unless of course there is, like I said, a holiday. All right, then they'll move them around a little bit. Consumer sentiment comes out tomorrow at 10. Rig count comes out at 1 tomorrow. That's it for me for today. I'm expecting our price to kind of melt down to 595 area and then bounce. All right. I'm looking for consolidation on SPY, over consolidation to occur. All right. So we already set the high side of the channel. I'm looking for them to create the low side, which has really already been formed by the highs of the last consolidation. So looking for consolidation on top of consolidations. I don't know whether it's going to be observed Thursday or Friday or just Thursday and then come back on Friday. I'm not sure, Richter. I wish I could move ahead and see what the calendar looks like. But anyways, I know that they will be observing the 19th. All right, so we'll look it up a little bit later here. All right, so that's it for me for this morning. Okay, I got to get this out there to everybody in podcast land and digital land. Thanks for hanging out with me today and yesterday. Traders made some profits yesterday on that pullback. We were prepared for that. That was nice. Again, I'm expecting some more melting today, all right, as they kill time and build up spinach and mustard and energy to make another higher high. All right, everybody, have a wonderful morning. I'll see you in about 30 minutes.